Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judy Jennings. I'm the Vice Chair of the Cookeville Planning Commission. Welcome to our February 26th meeting. We have a lengthy agenda, so we'll get started tonight. Our first order of business is the election of officers. I open the floor for nominations.
And I nominate Jim Woodford for chairman and Judy Jennings for vice chairman.
Good. Any other nominations? I guess we'll vote. I'm so happy to do this. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Me? Congratulations, Mr. Woodford, and for myself. Second item of business tonight is the approval of the agenda as submitted. The planning staff requested study be waived for items 4, 9, 10, and 11. And we move to action. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Action item number 2, consider for approval the minutes of the December 22nd, 25 meeting. Or here, no motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Action item number 3, the consent agenda. Consider the 6 months extension of the preliminary plat for Turnberry subdivision, 61 lots located on Hawkins Crawford Road, tax map 64, a portion of parcel 1808, request submitted by Capital Communities LLC. Consider the 6-month extension of the preliminary plat for connects 27 lots located on South Jefferson Avenue, River Bluff Road, Harrisburg Road, tax map 96, parcel 7804. Request submitted by Raj Patel. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Action item number 4. Consider the action of, I'm sorry, that was one, that has been moved to action. Considered for action the preliminary plat of the Henley Drive extension located at the intersection of Henley Drive and Sam Street to Bunker Hill Road, tax map 53I, Group C, portion 17.01. Request submitted by the city of Cookeville. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Here's a general location of the proposed Henley Drive extension south of I-40. Here's a location map that shows the location of the proposed street segment. It's an aerial view. The subject property is identified as a portion of parcel 8104 on map 66 and contains approximately 0.799 acres. The property is zoned CR Regional Commercial, as are adjacent properties. To the north and east, the property is bordered by CG General Commercial to the south and RS15 Single Family Residential to the west. So here's a zoomed out view to give you guys some perspective. You see Sam's at the top of the page. That's the Sam's Club location, and South Jefferson Avenue is running along the right side of the screen. And this is our existing zone. The submitted plat depicts the extension of Henley Drive from the intersection of Sam Street and Henley Drive to Bunker Hill Road. The extension is a 3-lane extension matching the existing Henley Drive street section and meets the standards of the Cookeville subdivision regulations. This proposed section has a right-of-way width of 60 feet. A 20-foot utility easement is shown on the northern edge of the street extension. All proposed utilities will need to be shown on the revised plat. The fire department noted that a hydrant will need to be installed, and the water quality control department has indicated they are upgrading and replacing the current hydrant for this area. The city has acquired the necessary right-of-way and easements to construct this street, and the council has awarded a construction bid for this project. So this was awarded by the city council at a February meeting. So here's a zoomed in view. You can see the sidewalk runs along the north side of the street, and this will tie into Bunker Hill Road. A traffic signal has been installed at the intersection of Henley Drive and South Jefferson Avenue as part of the South Jefferson project that's still under construction. Here we have some aerial views. That's looking back to the west where Henley currently terminates. It was designed to be extended, you can see from its current condition there where it was stubbed out headed to the west. That's looking back to the south with the Rogers Group facility located adjacent to that to the south. Looking back to the east toward Jefferson. Also a view looking to the southwest. So our recommendation is preliminary approval with subject to any completion or corrections and or additions to the plat as deemed necessary by planning or other city departments. Happy to answer any questions from the commission on this one.
Any discussion among the members of the meeting? Anything from members of the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Action item number 5. Consider or action the final plat of Roy and Beer subdivision. 4 lots located on Wildwood Creek Road and Taylor Road, tax map 65, parcels 79 and 79.01. Request submitted by Ron Buck on behalf of property owners Francis G. Roy and Dan Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Here's a general location of this proposed subdivision. This is currently 2 lots and they're proposing to subdivide this into 4. Here is our existing location map that highlights those 2 current tax parcels. An aerial view, you see there is an existing structure on the larger parcel and another structure has been removed off of the smaller parcel that is located on Taylor Road. This subject property consists of approximately 2.68 acres. The property is zoned RS20, as are all adjacent properties. Our submitted final plat depicts 4 new building lots ranging in size from 23,535 square feet to 41,470 square feet. All newly proposed lots meet the required minimum lot standards of the RS20 zoning district. All proposed lots have frontage along a public street. The plat notes that after final approval, all existing structures will be demolished and removed. Public sewer is not available for the area, and the developer has noted he has been in discussions with the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation regarding septic systems for this development. Public water is available. A 20-foot utility easement along the frontage of all proposed lots is shown on the plat as requested by the Energy Department. The Fire Department notes that the closest existing fire hydrant meets flow and pressure requirements for the proposed subdivision. The Public Works Department notes that an existing drainage culvert under Taylor Road must be maintained with positive drainage entering from the proposed lots. This plat also depicts a 30-foot right-of-way width from center line of Mine Lake Creek Road, which is a dedication of some additional right-of-way along along Mine Lake Creek Road, which is a major collector street. So Taylor Road is a substandard city street, and planning staff had met with other property owners on Taylor Road to discuss residential subdivision development. When I met with those property owners, I informed them that Taylor Road was substandard, and improvements would likely be required, and water infrastructure would likely need to be upgraded as well to increase any density on Taylor Road. So for this subdivision, I wanted to address that because we have an existing lot located off Taylor Road as depicted on this plat that was recorded in 2003, I believe. The proposed Roy and Beer Division re-subdivision of property also includes only 1 lot off Taylor Road with no increase in density on Taylor Road. So the planning division recognizes the existing lot is grandfathered with a reconfiguration of the lot boundaries with the proposed plat. So I want to make sure the planning commission understands that and that is entered into the record. So here's an aerial view of this. There isn't, where you see the vehicle parked, that is Taylor Road, right at the bottom of the screen. That's the existing driveway for the previous structure that was located there. And there is a current lot, a legal lot of record on Taylor Road, and they're reconfiguring that with this proposed subdivision. And that's looking back to the south off Mine Lake Creek Road. Looking back to the north. So this plat was reviewed at our monthly plat review meeting. We recommend a 90-day conditional approval of the final plat. Happy to answer any questions from the commission on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any discussion among the members of the committee? Anything from the members of the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Consider for action item number 6. Consider for action the final plat of lots 13 through 20 of Lot C of the Hillrun subdivision, 3 lots located on Walnut Avenue, tax map 40F, parcel, Group G, parcel 20, request submitted by Jeremy Queen. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Here is a general location of this proposed 3-lot subdivision on Walnut Avenue. Here is a location map. Aerial view. This subject property consists of approximately 0.67 acres. The property is zoned RS20, single-family residential, as are all adjacent properties to the north, south, east, and west. And it also borders residential mobile home park designation and RS10 to the south. Now, the submitted plat depicts a 3-lot subdivision of the parcel. Of note here, the Board of Zoning Appeals granted a variance to the minimum lot widths at their November 13, 2025 meeting, as noted on the submitted plat. The plats note that all existing structures will be demolished and removed. They have since been removed. A 15-foot utility easement is shown along the frontage of all proposed lots. The developer has dedicated approximately 8 feet of street right-of-way here to bring it up to the minimum 25 feet. That consists of approximately 2,178 square feet of right-of-way along the frontage of the lots. So prior to this dedication, all 3 lots met the 10,000 square foot minimum lot requirement for the RS10 district. Now they're just slightly below that, 9,800 square feet. Section 205.4.5 of the zoning code includes a provision when a portion of a lot of record is acquired for public purpose, the building official may permit a reduction in required setbacks in such a manner that setbacks can be measured from the property line or right-of-way line existing prior to acquisition. So that is the language that we use to hold people harmless in situations where additional right-of-way is dedicated or when right-of-way is substandard. So I know there were some questions about that at our work session on Thursday, so I wanted to note that everybody understood where the lot sizes were. The widths were reduced from a 75-foot width to like 71.5 feet. So it was a 3.5 foot variance that was approved there for the lot widths. The Cookeville Energy Department has requested that the easement be increased to 8 feet, but with the proposed 15-foot easement and right-of-way dedication of approximately 8 feet, CED has confirmed that's adequate. An existing gas main ends at the proposed lot 2 and would need to be extended to lot 3 if gas service is requested by the developer here or a future property owner. The plat has been revised to depict a 5-foot sidewalk to be constructed along all frontages, along the frontage of the proposed lots. The Director of Public Works notes that a payment in lieu of sidewalk construction may be appropriate for this proposed subdivision due to existing drainage issues and the location of an existing power pole. Planning staff recommends the Planning Commission defer to Public Works for either sidewalk installation or accepting a payment in lieu of installation for this proposal. During initial discussions with the developer, Public Works notes that the department does back down Womack Avenue to provide trash service from Jerry Whitson, and this would be acceptable, but would require the trash canisters to be placed on the east side of the street. So here's a zoomed in view. You can see the blue hatched area is the right-of-way dedication area and with the easements, and the plat is held harmless to setbacks and lot area due to the dedication. Here are some drone shots. That's looking back to the east. This plat was reviewed at our February plat review meeting. All relevant city departments have provided comments for approval, so we recommend 90-day approval of the final plat, subject to those conditions established by our departments. Happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any discussion among the members of the planning commission? Anything from the members of the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion. So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passed and carried. Action item number 7, consider for action the final plat of Saxony Phase 4, 123 lots located on East Spring Street, tax map 53I, Group C, parcel 17.21. Request submitted by Gary McNabb. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Here, general location of this, of the Saxony Phase 4 development off East Spring Street. Here is a location map. It's an aerial view. This subject property consists of approximately 9.06 acres. The property is zone CL, local commercial, as are adjacent properties to the east, south, and west. It's bordered by RM14 multifamily residential to the north. The submitted plat depicts a 123 lot, single family attached townhome development. The project consists of 122 townhomes. Lot 123 is the common area and not a building lot. It includes the street infrastructure and access and things like that for the development. This preliminary plat was originally approved in August of 2022. The Energy Department Gas Division notes that gas line relocations have been completed. Public Works notes that drainage easements need to be shown on the plat. There's a couple of locations where they were looking for some revisions. And an HOA note must reflect drainage easement maintenance. The Water Quality Control Department notes that note B on the final plat must be updated. Language for the note was provided at our plat review meeting. The plat should also be updated to reflect the public and private sewer lines as noted by Water Quality Control. This property was previously split zoned RM14 and CL and was rezoned to CL for homogeneous zoning across the property. Setback line was carried over from that preliminary plat that was originally submitted, and that needs to be corrected to reflect the current CL zoning designation. There are some aerial views of the project. Quite a few townhomes there have been added to the Saxony development. Again, this was reviewed at our plat review meeting. Our recommendation is a 90-day approval of the plat, subject to the conditions established by city departments. Happy to answer any questions from the commission on this.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any discussion among the members of the committee? Anything from the members of the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed and carried. Action item number 8, consider for action the final plat and the re-subdivision of lot 2, Willow Property subdivision phase 2. One lot located off the private permanent vehicular access easement on Corner Drive, tax map 65, original parcel 58. Request submitted by Josh Dykes on behalf of Willow Properties Group. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Here's our general location of this off South Willow Avenue. Here is the current parent parcel of the proposed one-lot subdivision. Here's an aerial view. Here's our zoning. The proposed one-lot subdivision consists of approximately 0.99 acres. This property is all zone CG, general commercial, as are adjacent properties southeast and north. The property is also bordered by RM8 multifamily residential to the west, and there's RS15 adjacent to this on the north, but that's outside of the proposed lot. The submitted plat depicts the creation of a new lot with frontage along a private access easement labeled as Patriot Way. The private easement is depicted as being 50 foot in width. Our Cookeville subdivision regulations, Article 5, Street design standards and specifications, section K states, the planning commission discourages the platting of private streets or permanent vehicular easements, as every subdivided property should be served from a publicly dedicated street. Private streets and permanent vehicular access easements shall be developed to meet all standards required for municipal streets as provided in these regulations. These include, but are not limited to, all requirements for street right-of-way widths, minimum surfacing widths, street grades, curbs, intersections, street names, sidewalks, and street construction procedures. When private streets or permanent vehicular access easements are permitted by the planning commission, the developer shall provide to the city of Cookeville provisions for the perpetual maintenance of the private street or permanent vehicular access easement. Said provisions shall be referenced on the final plat and recorded with the Putnam County Register of Deeds. So, our submitted plat, here's a zoomed in view of that. The submitted plat does not depict sidewalks along this private easement. The developer has stated that sidewalks would be constructed as property develops to avoid removing sidewalk segments to construct access for future development along this private easement. The easement currently connects the Foreman Drive to get to the easement. So this is a depiction showing the easement that connects the Foreman Drive and extends north and terminates in a property at the terminus of Humble Drive. The proposed easement does not connect to Humble Drive. The developer is working with the property owner at 755 Humble Drive to hopefully obtain a connection to the city street. They have proposed a commercial building off this proposed lot. The parking lot would serve as a turnaround for the private vehicular easement. So they are proposing to utilize this parking area to provide a turnaround point in the absence of a constructed cul-de-sac or a hammerhead or something like that, and still working with an adjacent property owner to access back out to Humble. Cookeville Energy Department and Water Quality Control Department both note that all utilities would be private for this proposed subdivision. The city wouldn't run public utilities down a private vehicular access easement. The electric division notes that electric utilities must be run underground at the developer's expense. The fire department notes that the existing hydrant on Humble Drive is adequate for the proposed development, but a new hydrant would be required for any future development along this proposed Patriot Way. So this is what they're proposing to build on this lot they've asked to subdivide. This is the easement exhibit that would establish a 50-foot private permanent vehicular access easement. When this was constructed, it was inspected by our Public Works Department. The developer was in contact with our Public Works Department about inspection of the proposed private easement to meet city construction standards. So here's an aerial view. You can see that is this is already a built access easement on this property. You can see the TVA easement that runs along the northern boundary there. That's a large TVA line with a large easement there. That's looking back to the west. Another view looking southwest. So this is pretty much at the terminus of Humble Drive, right? This is, you can see where the asphalt stops just short of the pavement for the property at 755 Humble Drive, and that is where the developer is trying to work with that property owner to obtain either, easement, some way to connect back to Humble Drive, which is a city street. That would be advantageous for those folks because they could utilize this to get to a signalized intersection at Foreman and Willow, versus Humble is not a signalized intersection. So this has been reviewed by our city departments. We recommend 90-day conditional approval, subject to any completion or corrections or additions to the plat as determined necessary by planning or other appropriate city departments. Happy to answer any questions from the commission on this.
Any discussion on the members of the committee?
I've got a real quick question just for clarification. So if they don't get something worked out by the time they build all that and they have the parking lot or the turning radiuses, since the parking lot's not built, they would ensure that that's adequate to have, a large vehicle turnaround.
Well, the petitioner's here, so I don't know what they have planned for this. I don't know if they're anticipating large vehicles in this, for this project. Do you have any answer for that, Mr. Stotts? You have.
Well-
If you would state your name for the commission, like this, we'll all remember.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Josh Stites. Thank you to the commission for your service to the city. The parking lot is being built to what we would consider standard city requirements. So it's being engineered to those standards. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Well, I guess if it's gonna be used as the turnaround, the turning radius, I'm thinking, for example, let's just say there happens to be a dumpster somewhere, get a large vehicle, let's say, fire department has to, for some reason, go down that road for whatever reason, do they have adequate turning radius in the parking lot to actually do that swing around without having to back all the way back out?
I think they would, they have a, like a teed
Yeah,
design there, and they show a dumpster location there. That's on the right side of the drawing where they would request trash pickup. We haven't reviewed a site plan. These were just provided as exhibits, so we don't have city comments on a proposed site plan at this time. At this time, they've asked to subdivide the property off of a private permanent vehicular access easement, but the site plan, this hasn't been reviewed. So I don't have comments from fire on adequate turnaround. If the connection to Humble's made,
it's a non.
it's a non-issue, but that's not, and I don't know if you have any updates or anything on that you could.
I don't have any updates. I would just say that we're optimistic that will work. I think everybody involved recognizes that it's good for the city. It's good for all the property owners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion.
Move for approval.
Second. A motion for approval, all in favor? Motion passed and carried. The next couple of items, or actually the next three items, involve rezoning issues, and so we're now in a public hearing. Action item number 9, consider for action rezoning property located at 69 Messenger Road, tax map 183, or 83, sorry, parcel 80.18, from RS10, single family residential to CG, general commercial. Requested by Ken Stone on behalf of preferred properties. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, here's a general location off South Jefferson of this request for rezoning. Here is a site map of the parcel. This is an aerial view. We'll come back to that. Here's a zoomed out view so you guys get some perspective. South Jefferson, you can see 136 there. It's a few hundred feet off of South Jefferson Avenue where Messenger Road was realigned. There to align with Julia Drive on the east side of South Jefferson. And this is our existing zone. Well, the subject property consists of approximately 0.53 acres, including street right-of-ways. This rezoning area would be approximately 0.56 acres. The property is zoned RS10, single-family residential, as are adjacent properties to the southwest and north. The property is also bordered by CG, general commercial, to the north and east. The application notes rezoning request from RS10 to CG. Future land use designates property as best suited for lower density residential and regional commercial. Rezoning request to allow for townhome development. So that was the reason stated in the application. The parcel is currently a vacant tract. The RS10 district is intended to provide a low to moderate density single-family residential environment in areas where public wastewater services are available. The CG district is intended for moderate and larger sized offices, personal business services, and general retail businesses. The CG district does allow for higher density residential development such as townhomes, multifamily developments, condominiums, things like that. So our future land use plan designates the subject property as best suited for lower density residential and regional commercial uses. So this is split right? The majority of the property is more in the residential side than the commercial side. But we interpret these border tracts as, that is a compliant future land use designation, right? So, the planning commission has typically discouraged commercial development when parcels do not have frontage on collector or arterial classified streets. Local streets are not intended to carry commercial traffic. Although the application notes the rezoning request is for a townhome development, rezoning the parcel to CG would open the area up for all uses permitted within the CG zoning district. Messenger Road is a substandard city street, and it's definitely not designed to handle any type of commercial traffic. And you can see, let me go back to this aerial, from this aerial where portions of Messenger Road were widened some with the Jefferson project, but it starts to taper back down right in front of this, and it's really a very narrow segment. We can see where the new pavement ends on this aerial. It's a narrow segment there. It's really a narrow segment street. So another thing, we looked in the record, there was a plat recorded in '06 that subdivided off a rear portion of this. So you can see in the zoning designation, the rezoning this parcel to CG would also include a section of RS10 behind the property. Here's some aerial views. So you can see this area contains a significant part of the driveway for the existing home there that's already in the CG zone. And you can see where the street improvements have ended and where it's tapering there. Now, I think the area to the south of this, where that's screened behind those screening trees, I think that is, I was told that was where a home-based business is located. So that is somebody that's operating a home-based business out of that location. So I believe it's a heating and cooling business. I don't have that confirmed. I'm just passing along what I was told. Oh, this is just, typically, we have considered approvals of rezoning when these have been combined with larger tracts that have the frontage on the higher classified street or something like that. I mean, it's been a common practice for the planning division to recommend against these type of zoning actions, and the commission has typically followed suit on it. So our recommendation is denial of the request. Happy to answer any questions from the commission on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any discussion with members of the committee? I'm about to ask if anyone in the audience wishes to address. If you do wish to address the commission, if you can come to one of the select room here, give us your name and your address. I'll ask first for people who are for the denial, who don't wish to have this, and then followed by people who do.
Thank you. My name is Larry Hart. I'm one of the developers that would be on this project, and I wonder if it would make a difference to the commission if we had planned to remove the older home on the property, and we were planning on building some nice townhomes on that property, maybe a combined brick and party plank and stone in that property, and we could improve the road right in front of the property enough to give us the width that we would need to make most of the access from Jefferson. The house is an older home. We have it rented currently, but our intention was to improve the neighborhood with some nicer structures there and certainly not make a negative impact on the neighborhood in any way. So that would be our intention with the property.
Any commission have questions? Mr. Chairman?
So you're saying that the house over there that has the driveway, that's all part of the same property?
It's all part of the same property, and it's already zoned commercial. Whenever they zoned that commercial, why have they done that? They didn't do the 69 Messenger part. They did do the 79.
Okay.
And the house is an older home, and it's not really our intention to continue with that house long term. We would prefer to remove that house, which is our intention, and then we want to build, the townhomes on the property. And, of course, we haven't drawn the site plans yet. We haven't got the engineer to draw the site plans of how we would enter and exit the property. Originally, the property had a bank there that didn't work for the grade, that the city required to enter and exit from that. So we've been waiting until the Jefferson project completed and the road was reworked, and it gives us that access now. So, you know, we could certainly discuss a way to access it that would be on the wider portion and not encourage people to exit out through the back. Most of their entrance and exit, I would imagine, would be from the Jefferson entrance there.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone who wishes to oppose the approval of this, should not be forward. No,
I mean, that's, so, what he's describing is typically something that we have considered. If it's part of a bigger redevelopment, other than just rezoning a small section on down there, and they already have rights to do what he's intending to do there. And, these are kind of transition zones, right, between major arterial and locals, but just rezoning that single lot back there, I mean, that's something that, I don't doubt what Mr. Hart says, that, but what happens is, and, when you rezone, you open it up for all the uses allowed in the zone. But if it was part of a bigger development plan, that may be, something.
At that point, would you combine the lots then?
Yeah, it's held as a separate parcel now, right? They subdivided this tract off of the parent tract at some point. From what we can tell from the only plat we had on record was this one. So, it looks like that y'all cut that lot off at one time, I guess with intent to possibly build a house on it or something.
That could possibly have happened before we acquired the property, so I'm not sure. I was just gonna say that if the commission would rather have it, I don't know what the right terminology would be, but a requirement for us to remove the house to do the project, we'd be willing to do that, because that's our intent. So if that would make you feel better about passing the zoning, we would be willing to make that a requirement to be able to do this. That way, we're not just putting.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and I think there's a process for this, and I think it would be better, if anything, to combine the lots and then to ensure that the entire lot is the appropriate zoning.
Yeah, right now, the way it is, we could tear the house down and do what we could do on that property, but I don't think that would be the best use of the property. And then it would leave that vacant lot next to it. Then we would probably just build a house or something on that vacant lot, so we would still put something on it, but I would rather for it to be a cohesive type development that really looked the best it could look. We're custom builders, we're not really, we build specs. Some of you guys know that, but we mostly build custom houses, and our intent is to build something that looks nice. We're not wanting to go in and just put apartments or something like that. Of course, I know when you rezone it, you open that up so we can sell it or do whatever with it, but I would be totally fine with making a requirement that we had to remove the house and do what I'm saying here for you guys to approve it, because we would have to come back to you with drawings and submit that to you to be able to proceed with the property.
So would the proper avenue forward be to deny this and let them come back with a new plat? Maybe, as Ollie suggested, combine the tracks and show it demolition of the house?
John, will you go back to that
Appropriate process?
Is it?
Well, one of
This
the
way
things
it
with
looks
that
like-
would be, it would, obviously cost us several $1,000s to remove the house and combine the plats and to be able to do that. Yeah, so that would be some, money up front that we would have to do to approach that. That would be the negative side of it for us.
Is that already combined? Isn't it?
No, it was since subdivided from this, right? I mean, so this is where they cut off the back of the lot, but we do have a plat that cut off that side section too. I was just illustrating with this where the back of that property was subdivided off.
We bought the property off of an older couple, and I don't know who had it as a home commercial, or I'm unfamiliar with the back part being cut off, so it's something that they probably done, I think, previous to us.
On that plat, it looks like the residential section is only a sliver of this blue box that's shown.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know how that was, that's not how that's not how a current plat would look. I can't tell you how that looked in '06. Yeah, I mean, that was done in 2006. So I don't know if zoning was updated some since then in that area or what. We'd have to really do some research to determine that.
We haven't done anything with it since we bought it other than just rent it.
you guys didn't own it in '06, right? So, I mean, you know, they bought it as in its current condition.
But again, this is a rezoning we're voting for here, not plats or.
Yes, exactly.
Plans, that's where it's, I'm not saying we would approve the other either
Sure.
necessarily, but we can only vote on
And once it's
rezoning of the plat, and
rezoned,
we have
it's
no
up to
control over what that is. I don't really know that there's even a mechanism for that, is there, John, unless you did like a PRD or something like that?
Yeah, it would have to be something like that. I mean, obviously, you know, contract zoning is, that's illegal, you know,
Right.
so, you know, that's not how it works with us. I mean, I don't doubt Mr. Harp will do exactly what he says, but we can't approve zoning based on, you know, based on something like that, right? I mean,
So
that's
your
something that gets you.
suggestion is not something that we can do, I guess is what.
So we're, you know, I'm mostly a residential builder, and we have, you know, a commercial license and, you know, build certain size commercial projects. So most of my experience is in residential construction with us doing townhomes and things like that. I don't do large scale commercial.
But if they came back and combined the lots, I mean, that's a different analysis from our perspective. You know, I mean, we were looking at this from the fact that there was an existing house there that's already zoned CG. They could demo that house and redevelop it. You know, if they combine this lot with that and then brought back a rezoning request, that is typically what the commission has, you know, been more favorable to, right?
Yeah, we could get with the engineer and we could do the site work part of it and, you know, go ahead and combine the lots and not have the two individual lots, so that would be something that'd be pretty easy to do.
How many acres would you have total with both combined?
I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it says on that plat 2.3. That plat right there doesn't have it divided. It doesn't have that separate line.
No, it doesn't. This, the reason why we showed this one is because of that area in the back, right? This area right here, because they subdivided that back part off, which, you know, instead of being able to have a consistent CG zone, you know, you're gonna have a finger of residential. It's just some of the things that complicate, managing your zoning.
Yeah, there's a structure back there. There's a pretty good sized garage, like a workshop garage in that spot. So I imagine the neighbor probably worked out a deal with the older folks and probably done that to put that behind his house, would be my guess. But, you know, combining the lots and paying the engineer to do that would be easy. Whenever you said to go ahead and demo the house, then if we can't do this, then we're tearing down a rental property that we could at least get something. So we'd rather not.
We've considered things where, you know, without that being just completely demoed, right? I don't know that would necessarily need to happen, but you know, you could go through the process and see if you were permitted the zoning, and if you were, then you could demo at that time. But I mean, we definitely want to see the lots combined, because that gives you at least access off of some improved section. And, you know, I don't know what they would propose here, right? I mean, they may have to improve more of that, right? It may have to be widened further to the west. You know, we wouldn't want to see any type of access off of Messenger. It is narrow. It is a substandard street. It's a narrow street. I cut through there occasionally myself because I live in that area of town, and it's tight for sure. But this puts us in a predicament right with this, because you have the proposal, so it's, you know, denied like it is, but then the petitioner would have to resubmit. But if he combines the lots, that's definitely a change in the situation, so he would have the right to come back, but he'd have to submit another fee for us to re-notify everybody and go back through the process, and that's what the commission would need to decide at this point.
But a denial now does not affect him in the future.
If you deny something, you can't bring it back for 12 months unless something changes.
And this would be.
And combining the track would definitely be a change that could be hurting you.
Do I have a motion
So moved.
that we deny?
That was denied.
Okay. I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Okay, so we just combine the lots and resubmit?
That's what I'd encourage you to do.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, now to be clear, that's not a guarantee of approval,
Oh, I know.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Action item number 10. Consider for action rezoning property located in Lloyd Ferry Road, tax map 83, parcel 57.00, from the CI commercial industrial mixed use in RS 20, single family residential the RS5 single family residential request to be definite fair on behalf of Brian Hartford.
Hey, Madam Chairman, so here is the general location of this rezoning application off of Highway 111 and Boyd Ferris Road. Here is a site map of the parcel. And here is an aerial view. The subject property consists of approximately 16.18 acres. This rezoning request, including street right-of-way, would be approximately 18.29 acres. That's because it would rezone to the center line of Highway 111 and the Boyd Ferris Road center line right-of-ways. The property is currently split zone, CI, commercial industrial mixed use, and RS20, single family residential. The property is bordered by CI to the south, west, and north, LM Light Manufacturing to the east, and RS20 to the east and south. This parcel is currently vacant. Now, the application notes they're requesting rezoning for the ability to develop a single-family home neighborhood that is fee simple, for sale, and contains one-level ranch homes with attached garages. The CI district is intended to accommodate a mixture of compatible commercial and light industrial developments. The RS20 district is intended to provide a low-density, single-family residential environment in areas where public wastewater services are or are not available. The RS5 district is intended to provide a moderate-density, single-family residential environment in areas where public wastewater services are available. The application further notes the developers have received approval from the city of Cookeville for up to 40 homes, and to exceed that number, it's noted that approximately 2,200 linear feet of low-pressure forced sewer main would need to be upgraded. The developers have included that they plan to perform that upgrade at their own cost and at the discretion of the Water Quality Control Department if any increase in density is approved. Boyd Ferris Road is classified as a local street. Improvements to Boyd Ferris Road may be necessary depending on the specific development proposal, right? So, and this is that we've not seen a formal development proposal for any of this. Our future land use plan designates the subject property as best suited for mixed-use, commercial, industrial, and lower-density residential uses. This proposal would be a downzone in intensity from any commercial or industrial use, and the RS5 zoning designation has been interpreted and compliant in the lower-density, single-family residential designated areas. Sewer was extended to the subject property in 2018. The Planning Commission has previously approved previous rezoning requests from the RS20 zoning designation where sewer infrastructure has been provided. After previous rezoning requests for RS5, the zoning code was amended to add an RS7.5 single-family zoning district. The RS7.5 district requires a minimum of 7,500 square feet per lot and allows a minimum lot width of 60 feet. Our RS5 requires a 5,000 square foot minimum lot size and a width of 50 feet. Side yard setbacks for single-family homes in the RS7.5 district are 7.5 feet, and RS5 district it's 5 feet. In contrast, our RS10 district requires a minimum lot area of 10,000 square feet and requires a 50-foot lot width at the street right-of-way and a 75-foot lot width at the building setback line. It also requires 10-foot side yard setbacks. Now here is, we asked about the RS5 areas at our work session. So this highlights our RS5 areas in the city right now. The last one that was approved was the Timberwalk development. I'm pretty sure, I don't think Kensington came after that, did it, Chris? No, it was the Timberwalk development off South Lovelady Road. The developers have included just a sketch concept with this rezoning. I mean, I want to caution you guys that that is not what's being presented to be approved. That is only representation of what might could be done at that current zoning designation. How many lots was it, Chris? 74. So that's 34 more than water quality has approved, which would require, you know, sewer upgrades for about 2,200 linear feet of force main. So this is an aerial view of this tract. The Planning Division recognizes this area as a transition between some commercial and industrial uses. on Boyd Ferris Road and Highway 111 and, lower density areas. We have, see these areas are appropriate to consider increases in density where you have these transitions. It would provide a transition and would be down zone from a commercial or an industrial use on the track with the current split zone there. So our recommendation is approval of the request. I'm happy to answer any questions the commission has on this.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Discussion among the members of the commission.
Just a general question, so they're requesting for RS5, but it's showing other options if it were to remain RS20?
No, the options were at RS5.
Right.
Yeah.
But this shows RS20. No,
No, it's fine.
it says RS20 at the top right now.
Yeah, I mean, these lots, so they're, I mean, this is just, that's what I'm telling you, this is just an exhibit, but you can see the dimensions of the lot down there.
Okay.
And those lot dimension, I think that lot that they're proposing is 5,500 square
Oh,
feet,
yeah.
possibly, right? So that's just over the RS5, requirement.
I got it, okay, got it.
Sorry, I didn't notice that.
Any other discussion among the members of the committee? Okay. Members of the audience, if you wish to address the commission, you can approach the lectern and try to give us your name and address and try to hold your comments to 3 minutes. You're welcome to come forward now.
Okay, what?
Anyone who opposes or
Yes. Thank y'all. My first is a disclaimer,
your name?
not my name. So, my name is Delane Stewart. Kathleen with a C is my first name, but I go by Delane, my middle name. And so, Brian owns the property. I have nobody has an argument about where he has this ability or not to sell this property. He does. That's not constitutional rights, so he does. But I have something I'd like to. I don't know if they're, okay, here we are.
Don't touch the.
This is me, okay? This is me right here, next to all of this. So if this is extended, but staff has told me tonight that there'll be a buffer zone. And that's well and good, it is. And seems like a very nice young man, and it was a pleasure to meet him. However, if we're talking about more people than what he showed me and you saw a while ago, 40 is gonna be a lot of people. And if 40 people, the house is sold, then most people have two cars. And we're right off 111. Anybody who travels 111 knows that in the last 5 years, it has gotten exponentially worse as it has downtown. So I think as a private citizen, one of my questions is the planning board. Did you plan for the fiasco we're seeing right now on Jefferson that is already on Willow and we're getting ready to see more? You've asked for this responsibility. And you have it, and I applaud you for it, but not for what we're seeing right now. I'm asking for the children of this town, your children. I don't have any children here. I have no family. My family are the boys and the Pharisees, because we were kind of adopted in when we came here. So I have been here in Cookeville since 2002. Moved here in the fall of 2002, took a teaching position at Tech, and got here the day before school started. I've been on Boyd Ferris Road since about 2005, and love it. I love the wildlife. I love that we have a beautiful town, guys, beautiful. We have songbirds that you cannot even think of that other places don't have because we take them for granted. What are we gonna do when the deer disappear, when the turkey disappear, and the little bunny rabbits disappear? And not only that, but our songbirds disappear.
We appreciate your comments. If you're asking us not to rezone it, is that your bottom line in the 3 minutes or?
No, a lower number. For number one, I'm told that the Boyd Ferris Road will not be really effective. Well, it will be. From what I'm hearing y'all talk about tonight, it will be. And if it is going to take the whole front of my house. So where's that gonna leave me? I'm a widow. I'm married widow, but I'm a widow. So, this is a question I have for y'all. Number one.
You need to finish up, please, okay?
Huh?
Your time is up, so.
Okay, just let me pose these questions.
One more,
Okay.
comment, that'll be fine.
So, 3 questions we need to ask ourselves every day. I read this a while back, it was very impactful. Number one, what is something I can do for someone today? Number one, that's the question. Number 2 is, what is something I can do to add value to the world today? Gang, I hope I'm doing it for the future generations to have a quality of life in this place. And then number 3, how can I honor God today? Praise God, I hope I'm doing it. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Stephen Claire. I'm the applicant,
Oh, my
300 Letterman Road, Knoxville, Tennessee. I want to thank Mrs. Stewart for coming out. I know that's not fun and nerve-wracking, and I think it's a wonderful thing, and we had a nice time speaking before. Just to mention a few quick things about what our plan is. Obviously, I understand the zoning designation we're asking for and our lot count don't match as much. That's a pretty small lot, and that's understood. Some of the reason that we did that, obviously, the irregular shape of the property, there's some topography and possibly some depressions on the property that we've got to be able to design around to be able to use it and not use the parts that we can't. And so the goal is to try to cluster what we're doing within the interior of the property. As she mentioned, we plan to buffer her boundary as well as the other 2 property owners' boundaries that are residential going towards 111 with the type 1 buffer. I don't know that it's required, but I think that we're in the midst of designing this with a 45-foot right-of-way and a 21-foot pavement, obviously a stormwater system and extruded curbing. And we've got about a 3/4 acre stormwater detention area that we're obviously doing calculations for that is going to actually be down in that lower corner near to Mrs. Stewart's home. So there won't be any homes near her, and the corner of our road is shown on that plan. We tried to keep a good buffer also so our grading didn't impact her property. And then, as was said, the sewer and water upgrade that's necessary, we're happy to work with the city of Cookeville at their direction to do that. The water, we just want to make sure that the flow is there for fire protection and TDEC pressures. And if there is an upgrade needed for that, we're happy to do it. And we do as well plan to perform a traffic study. And if there are recommendations made in that, once submitted to the city of Cookeville, along with dedicating the right-of-way for it, not getting anywhere near her property or in front of her home, but going towards 111, we're happy to perform those upgrades. If it's widening or striping or whatever it is to Boyd Ferris to allow that to be a safe place to drive. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, but
Thank
thank you very much.
you. You all have any questions? Okay. Anyone else wish to speak? Hearing none, we'll call for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
On the motion and second, all in favor? Motion passed and carried. Voice is back on. Action item 11, public hearing to consider action review and recommendation on West Watson Bryant Road and extension plan services policy given by staff. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Everyone's very familiar with this, but I'm going to kind of start from the top for anyone in the audience who may not be familiar with this. So in May of 2025, staff presented a request for annexation for the Dodson Branch Road annexation area. The planning commission reviewed this annexation study and plan of services and recommended to move forward with this with the city council. Our city council, through resolution R250609, scheduled a public hearing for an annexation by referendum and plan of services on the subject property.
What's going on?
And during council discussions through these public hearing processes, additional property owners requested inclusion into this annexation area. So it evolved over the process. After consulting with the Putnam County Election Commission, staff determined that placing the referendum on the May 2026 general primary ballot would be more feasible and cost-effective than holding a special referendum. Resolution R251117, approved by the council, directed staff to move forward with preparing and taking the necessary steps to consider holding a referendum during the May 2026 election. This previous month in January, council through R260202 set a date for a public hearing of March 19th on the plan of services and the Dotson Branch Road annexation by referendum area. One thing I would like to note with the planning commission, and here's a general location of that, and this was our original proposal for the Dotson Branch Road annexation area.
Sir.
One parcel has been omitted from this at this time, so you guys recognize this parcel. We are leaving that out as we move forward. Now, notices have been sent out that included that. That parcel is primarily a vacant wooded tract, and it's assessed as agricultural from the property assessor, right? It does include the location of a cell tower that is assessed for commercial uses. State law only allows properties used primarily for agricultural purposes to be annexed by owner consent. So whether it's a referendum or not, if an agricultural property does not consent to annexation, then they cannot be included in an annexation request. We could annex the cell phone portion of it, but that is not, that's not the primary use of the property. So, the final revised annexation area omitting that tract consists of 55 parcels totaling 258.5 acres, including street right-of-ways. So our original study area increased from 25 parcels and around 130 acres to this final 55 parcels and 258.5 acres. This evolved through the annexation study process and our plan of services process due to areas that could be served without significantly increasing service costs to the area. The primary purpose of the annexation request we received was to extend sewer service to a vacant tract. That's why this was brought to the an application for annexation, a request to annexation was submitted to begin with. This area is located entirely within the city's urban growth boundary. It's designated in the Cookeville 2030 plan as rural residential and mixed density residential uses. Because the majority of the annexation area was initiated by the city, state law requires a referendum to be held. Only qualified voters within the annexation area are able to vote, and a simple majority is required for approval for a referendum on annexation. So to go through our plan of services, these are the services that the city provides, and state law requires us to have a plan to provide these services. And I'm going to go through these. I know you guys have heard this, but bear with me and we'll go through it. We've only got to do it 2 more times, I believe, until the council either decides to move forward or not. So, police protection, patrolling, radio responses to calls, other routine police services using present personnel and equipment will be provided upon the effective date of annexation. Fire protection by present personnel and equipment of the firefighting force within the limitations of available water supply and distances from existing fire hydrants would be provided upon the effective date of annexation. Water services is currently provided to the annexation area by the city of Cookeville and would be provided at city rates upon completion of annexation. Improvements to provide fire hydrants necessary to provide fire protection to the area would be completed in 5 years after the effective date of annexation. A sanitary sewer will be provided to the annexation area by the city of Cookeville when economically feasible and based on the same criteria, standards, and policies used to determine the expansion of sanitary sewer service and other unserved portions of the present corporate limits. Solid waste collection and disposal, the same regular refuse collection services provided in the city would be extended to the annexation area within 60 days after the effective date of annexation. Streets, emergency maintenance of streets will begin on the effective date of annexation. That would include repair of hazardous chuck holes, measures necessary for traffic flow, etc. Routine maintenance on the same basis as the present city would begin in the annexed area on the effective date of annexation. Reconstruction and resurfacing of streets, installation of storm drainage facilities, construction of curbs and gutters, and other major improvements would be accomplished under the current policies of the city. Traffic signals, traffic signs, street markings, and other traffic control devices would be installed as need is established by appropriate study and traffic standards. So for inspection services, all inspection services now provided by our codes division, building, plumbing, gas, housing, fire, etc., would begin on the effective date of annexation. Planning and zoning, the planning and zoning jurisdiction of the city would extend to the annexed area on the effective date of annexation. City planning would encompass the annexation area, and ordinance establishing zoning for the area would be adopted following a referendum on annexation. Recreational facilities, residents of the annexed area may use all existing recreational facilities, parks, etc. on the effective date of annexation. The same standards and policies now used in the present city will be followed in expanding recreational programs and facilities to an enlarged city. Electrical service and street lighting. So electrical service for domestic, commercial, and industrial use to the annexed area would continue to be provided by the Upper Cumberland Electric Membership Cooperative. The city of Cookeville would provide street lighting within 2 years of annexation. Natural gas is provided by the city of Cookeville in the annexed area and is available. Natural gas would be extended based on customer demand and when economically feasible. So that is the plan of services. Obviously I consider our services to be a good deal for folks. I mean, it does require you to pay city property taxes, but we have a Class 2 rated fire department, full-time fire department, accredited police department. Water rates decrease. Lots of times when people pay for a private trash pickup service, that it is comparable to what your property taxes are incurred. And insurance rates should decline. I mean, if your insurance company bases homeowners insurance rates on fire protection, ISO ratings, things like that. So this is the plan of services that's been reviewed several times by this board. I recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions from the Planning Commission on this.
Thanks, Mr. Ward. Any discussion among members of the commission? Anything from the audience on this? Entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
And the motion will second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes and carried.
Madam Chairman, one thing I don't want to say, I mean, this is just, this is the final public hearing by the Planning Commission. We have the revised area that will be presented to the City Council. The City Council will be holding a public hearing on March 9th, at their March 19th meeting. We have sent letters out to everybody in that annexation area and adjacent properties, and we'll be putting signs out this week. We have a 21-day notice requirement for that. But it's still up to the City Council to decide whether they're going to move forward with a referendum. That'll be their decision to be made at their March 19th meeting. So.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. I declare that our public hearing is now closed. Action item number 12, consider for action the 2025 annual report and approve the requested board.
Hey, Madam Chairman, so this is our annual APR, as we refer to it. Another busy year for the city of Cookeville. We've approved 20 final plats, creating 183 lots. One thing I do want to point out here is the difference in preliminary plats. So last year, we only reviewed 2 preliminary plats with 24 lots. And you can see in 2024, there were 9 preliminary plats that created 233 lots. So that is a big difference year to year on that. We had 8 rezoning requests last year, 7 were approved, 1 was denied. Lots of activity with zoning confirmation. That's usually an indicator of commercial inquiries about, potential commercial development. Financial guarantees were accepted, approximately $70,000 there. And, we had lots of economic development activity projects that we participated in. We prepared a proposed amendment to the Urban Growth Boundary. I anticipate that will be going to the Joint Economic and Community Development Board in the coming months. I believe there was one municipality in Putnam County that was finalizing proposed amendments in March. So we should be seeing those in the coming months. Obviously, we spent a lot of time on this annexation. I would, for a referendum to be held on annexation. Major work activities for 2026, and the 2030 plan is still our major work activity. We have, getting through this month's agenda. Next month, we plan to dig in on that considerably again. Hopefully, we'll have a joint work session with council and the planning commission coming up. I hope we can do something like that in the next month. We have a revised, we want to send out the survey one more time, so I want to get that out to everybody and see if there's anything y'all want to talk about, so we can kind of freshen up some public input into this as well before we start holding our public hearings on it. Oh, that's the APR for 2025, 2026. Happy to answer any questions from the commission on this, but I recommend your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any discussion among the committee members? Anything from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed and carried. Action item number 13, consider for action amendments to the official street map requested by staff.
And last but not least, Madam Chairman, thank you. This is our annual amendments to the official street inventory and street map for the city of Cookeville. These are necessary to the construction of 6 new streets. That's approximately 7,367 linear feet, or a little over a mile of addition to the street to the street map. The purpose is to depict the streets which the city is responsible for maintenance and reflect the official names of these streets. The recommended amendments are in your information packets. It's Couples Drive and Nicholas Avenue and the Reserve at the Country Club. Event Center Drive was constructed as part of the new Putnam County Fairgrounds development. Mason Way, Rockcarn Way, and Chestnut Oak Cove were constructed as part of the Timberwalk residential subdivision. We recommend approval of these amendments to the major street map. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any discussion among the committee members? Anything from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed and carried. See, we have one study item on the board.
That's correct. We have one study item. That's a preliminary plat of Polly Place. 12 lots located off Polly Drive. That's a proposed townhome development. And that is our only study item for this month.
Call for a motion to set the study item. Second. All in favor? Motion passed and carried. Any other business that needs to come before the committee?
2 staff reports, Madam Chairman, for minor plats that were approved. The Pigeon Roost lots 9 and 10 revision and the Willow Properties Phase 3 lot 1 redivision. Those were both 2 lot subdivision plats that were approved since our last meeting. That's all that I have.
Sorry, I haven't.
Oh, you're no problem. Just want to make sure I got those in the record.
Any other business? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.